Omega has a long and rich history. It is a Swiss-made watch based in Biel, Switzerland. Omega was worn by NASA astronauts and was the first watch on the moon in 1969. It has also been the watch worn by James Bond since 1995. No wonder there are so many counterfeits of this watch brand out in the wild. Ask the customer a few qualifying questions about the watch. The customer should be able to paint a nice picture about it. People who own luxury watches should know a bit of history on the watch. When was the last time you spent $5,000 and didn't know much about what you were buying? Ask for the original papers. Designer watchmakers take pride in their work and often include a certificate or paper with the watch's details and serial number. If they have said paper, that's a good sign. But don't stop there. Compare the watch's details to the information on the paper. The paper should have a serial number that matches the one on the watch. Be sure to find your watch's serial number. Not sure where to find the serial number? Your best and quickest resource to find this information would be a quick Google search. If you find a serial number on the watch or on the papers the customer has provided, you can use a really handy website to determine if the watch is a counterfeit very quickly. Watch Certification Services of America is a website that contains a database of flagged serial numbers that are counterfeit. You should always check a serial number against this database. Get with your store manager or store director to use this website. Next, ask for the box it came in when purchased. Most watchmakers don't hesitate to provide their brand box to protect the watch to take home. If there was no box provided or it was lost, no problem. This is just one part of the process. Check the overall quality of the watch. Check all the letters in the dial. They should be crisp and clear. There should be no blurry edges or misalignments. Let's look at the logo, specifically the logo's feet. They should not point up, but go out. The logo should be applied, not painted. It should be a separate piece of metal that is attached to the dial. Set the hands so they are not obscuring the logo or any words. Check carefully for misspellings. Typically, counterfeiters will often misspell chronometer as chronometer. Try pulling the stem out and adjusting the time. When you do, the second hand should stop. Many of the counterfeits do not. Also, be aware of the date movement. It should click every time the date advances. Set the seconds hand to 12 o'clock and check the symmetry of the wording. Set the seconds hand to 6 o'clock and check the wording on the bottom. Counterfeiters often forget or don't add Swiss made at the bottom. The seconds hand should move in a motion of several steps per second, which makes it look like it's moving in a continuous motion. It should not move in 1 second steps. Check the luminosity of the watch. Place the watch in front of a light for 15 to 30 seconds and then take to a dark spot. You should see the looms clear and bright. If they are dim and weak, it's a telling sign. Look at the inlays on the hands. On genuine Omegas, they are nearly the entire width of the hand. Counterfeits often are not. Next, inspect the date display. The numbers should be centered and take up almost all of the window with the double digits. On some of the counterfeits, it is very noticeable on the lower numbers if they are not centered. Check the position of the luminous dot on the top of the bezel. It should be exactly centered. A real Omega will be stamped with the Omega name inside the back on the movements. Starting in 2000, a serial number was engraved on the underside of the lugs at the 7 o'clock position. In 2003, Omega introduced a globe etching on the back case rim. Omega Seamaster. If specifically looking at the Omega Seamaster, check the position of the helium escape valve. It should be just north of the 10 o'clock position. Omega Speedmaster. If specifically looking at a Speedmaster, check the subdials. Counterfeits are often not recessed, where real Omegas will have the subdials recessed into the dial. The logo was raised on the Speedmaster until 1968. No Speedmasters after 1968 should have a logo, special editions notwithstanding. Look at the length of the minute hand. It should extend to the fraction marks on the dial. Typically, counterfeits are too short. Check the basics. Ask questions about the timepiece. The customer should be able to paint you a picture about the watch. Ask for papers and the box the watch came in. Check the dial. Is the logo perfect? Do the numerals look raised or out of place? Use Google to compare large images of the watch online to the watch in front of you. Check the case, crown, and strap. Does the watch have the right weight? Is the strap solid? Does the strap feel cheap? Does the strap click together nicely? Check the complications. Are they the right complications for the type of watch? Does the date snap over after 24 hours? Use this checklist to guide through the decision-making process, and you'll never take another fake watch again, hopefully. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.